Well, I would say Benavidez, but he's too, you know, that weight class is too high for him. So, you know, where he's at now is great.
David, yeah, Terence Crawford will fight you if he beats Canelo.
Nah, I wouldn't fight Crawford. I'm at 175.
Terence Crawford. No. That's great. Right. Maybe planning on vacating the belts?
No, we ain't gonna vacate the belts.
Coach Brian "Bomac" McIntyre stirred controversy after the fight when he was questioned about Turki Alalshikh's idea of matching Terence Crawford with David Benavidez next. Bomac quickly dismissed the proposal, stating that Crawford has no reason to take on that type of fight.
Well, we need to sit for a minute and then, just like I said, get back in the gym and do our thing. And
he also told fans that even a fight with Boots Ennis wouldn't really benefit Canelo, explaining that Terence Crawford is an entirely different beast compared to Ennis.
Prove about the sparring. You guys were largely.
I told you it don't make no difference. Didn't I say it? That don't mean. I don't give a damn about that. Yeah. I said that, didn't I? Yeah. That's one of those interviews. I said that. Don't mean because he's no Bud Crawford. I'm not taking nothing from Ennis. You know, Boozy, them my guys. Shit, but bringing in that, which is good for Canelo, but it didn't do no good in the fight.
The entire Benavidez discussion began when Turki Alalshikh, a major figure in Saudi boxing, posted a message on social media just hours after Crawford's massive victory. He congratulated Terence Crawford on his historic achievement of becoming the undisputed super middleweight champion, making him the first boxer in history to claim undisputed titles in 3 different weight divisions. He also thanked Canelo Alvarez for delivering a great fight and helping create a memorable event. But then he added a question that instantly set the boxing world buzzing. Almost like a tease for what could happen next, he asked fans a simple but explosive question: can David Benavidez still make 168 pounds? Boxing analyst Greg Hackett later addressed the sudden rumors about a potential showdown between Terence Crawford and David Benavidez. Hackett explained that the idea didn't appear to come from any official negotiation or confirmed plan, suggesting that the conversation seemed driven more by hype and financial opportunity than by competitive logic. He also pointed out that Crawford doesn't need a fight with Benavidez to secure his legacy, and that Benavidez would likely damage his body trying to drop back down to 168 pounds after already moving up to 175.
Limits, and he think the money is going to keep getting him out there. The fight is pointless. The fight is pointless because nobody ever talked about that fight until now. And then I don't feel like Bud needs the Benavidez. And then that would mean Benavidez would have to go into a different body and bring himself back down to 58 when he's already get settled in at 170.
Hackett then continued by explaining why the supposed clash between Crawford and Benavidez seemed largely manufactured. In his view, Turki Alalshikh was simply using the discussion as a way to showcase his promotional influence. Still, Hackett admitted that even if the conversation started as hype, matchups like this can become intriguing when the spotlight turns them into real possibilities.
Benavidez had some tough tags in front of him that he wanted to conquer before even talking like that. I don't think he wanted to talk like that because there was no point. He wanted the Canelo fight. Canelo was the man 68. He was at 68. I don't think he cared about fighting Bud, and I don't think Bud cared about fighting Benavidez. That's just Turkey trying to pull rank. Turkey's trying to show he got go.
One major question surrounding the potential matchup was whether Crawford could successfully move up another weight class. Many experts pointed out that he was already a champion across 4 divisions, although some argued that achievement was often overstated. Sean Porter, a boxing analyst and respected voice on YouTube, has previously questioned whether Crawford's resume truly justifies all the praise he receives. Critics have long claimed that Crawford hasn't faced enough elite opponents or consistently proven himself against the very best competition in the sport.
Crawford is top 4 greatest fighters of all time. Do you understand how improbable this is? I thought Bud had no chance. I lost 20 grand. Not only is Terence Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, like I said, if he were to win, because the probability of him winning against all the odds, I couldn't see how.
The narrative often overlooked the positive side of this historic bout, a fight that pushed one of the sport's most celebrated champions to his limits and ultimately led to his downfall. Crawford's performance was so convincing that even some of his harshest critics began to reconsider the magnitude of his influence in boxing. In the hours following the fight, the dramatic shift in perception was captured on video, preserving the moment so fans would remember just how powerful the impact truly was.
He put together. That guy, he can face anybody in history and be a problem. Him right there. Not only that, I think this cements the fact that everybody avoided him. This right here answers everything. Not only is Terence Bud Crawford on my Mount Rushmore, but everybody avoided him. And that sheds more light on how he beat Errol Spence.
To become the first male boxer to hold all 4 major belts across 3 different weight divisions, Crawford had to climb all the way up to 168 pounds and capture every title there. No fighter in boxing history had ever accomplished that before. So even if the debate about him being a 4-division undisputed champion continues, his achievements are still extraordinary and place him in a class of his own. Many fans were also surprised by what Canelo Alvarez said at the press conference after losing to Terence Crawford by majority decision. Rather than dodging the moment, Canelo gave Crawford full credit and openly admitted that Bud was simply the better fighter that night.
Contrast the fight between yourself and Floyd Mayweather Jr. and tonight's bout with Terence Bud Crawford, if you can.
No, I think Crawford is way better than Floyd Mayweather.
Veteran boxing journalist Dan Rafael also shared his thoughts on the fight between Terence Crawford and Canelo Alvarez. According to Rafael, who has covered the sport for decades, the most impressive aspect of the bout was how Crawford seized control in the later stages. He noted that Canelo appeared to have the edge in the early rounds before the momentum eventually began to shift.
Great job. I thought it was close. I had Canelo ahead in the early going, but I thought Crawford did an amazing job closing that fight down in the last few rounds, where he really started to back the supposed bigger guy up, although for me, they looked about the same size. But that was
Rafael's reaction only strengthened Crawford's argument by emphasizing how historically significant the victory was. He explained that Crawford had long been chasing a moment like this, even when many believed the fight would never happen. According to Rafael, opportunities for Crawford to face naturally bigger opponents were rare because most people doubted a matchup like this could ever become reality.
he dreamt this fight. He willed it to happen. A lot of people, not me, but a lot of people laughed at him and said, forget about it, no chance against a bigger guy like that. Canelo, because everybody who has ever read me, followed me, listened to me knows I love Canelo. I think he's one of the greats of all time. I think you can make a really good argument that he's the greatest Mexican of all time, even more than Chavez. That said, he is in decline. He's been in decline for the last few years. He hasn't been what we've seen him at his best since he beat Caleb Plant. You know, that Caleb Plant, Billy Joe Sanders time frame. And, you know, even though he's winning fights, you know, the knockouts haven't happened. He's gotten tired in the later part of the fights, and it's just common. It's the oldest saying in boxing: "Father Time is on."
A respected boxing journalist and ringside analyst, Sean Zittel, also spoke about how Terence Crawford's reputation has grown following his victory over Canelo Alvarez. Zittel explained that he had recognized Crawford's talent for years and even named him the pound-for-pound best back in 2017. However, until now, he had never quite placed Crawford in the same category as the sport's most legendary superstars.
Crawford, #1 pound for pound back in 2017. I always acknowledged him as the best counterpuncher in the game, one of the great counterpunchers. But I didn't see him as Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Robinson. I didn't see him as that. I saw him as the tier of greats right below that. Oscar, Say, Mike McCallum, guys like that. And it turns out, no, he's with the best of the best.
Zittel also critiqued certain aspects of Crawford's technique during the Canelo fight. He noted that Crawford absorbed Canelo's power with remarkable ease and displayed a level of punch resistance rarely seen in this weight class. Zittel explained that Canelo began to lose his rhythm as the bout progressed, while Crawford opened the third and fourth rounds with a precise jab and gradually took full control, effectively mastering the fight.
Crawford, I know Crawford felt it, but he had good punch resistance. He came up in weight beautifully, and then as time went on, his jab and his length, around that third and fourth round, really started to give Canelo fits. And then, #1, his bread and butter, his gift. Yes, he's got great tactics, great distance control, efficient footwork. He doesn't, and he took the air out of the ball when he wanted to in this.
Before the fight even began, it was clear that Canelo Alvarez planned to use his size, experience, and strength to his advantage. Fans were intrigued because Canelo, a former champion, knew exactly how to handle pressure, even at the demanding super middleweight division. After his loss to Terence Crawford, Canelo took to Instagram to speak directly to his supporters. He didn't complain about the defeat. Instead, he reflected on the experience, his team's victories, the sacrifices made along the way, and expressed deep gratitude to his family and friends who had never stopped supporting him. He made a special point to honor his wife, Fernanda, who stood by him through it all. In his post, he wrote, "I'm proud of everything I've accomplished so far. Winning is always the goal, but I'm ready to accept defeat and learn from it. For all we've sacrificed over the years, I'm thankful for my team. I've already won because my family has always been by my side, and my friends never stopped cheering me on." He continued to thank his family, especially his wife, for their unwavering support, adding, "Finally, I want to thank my wife Fernanda for being patient and holding my hand through all of this. Good luck in Mexico, Mom." Meanwhile, the victorious and seasoned Terence Crawford displayed a rare moment of frustration during a press conference after his historic win. He became upset when a reporter mocked him in front of cameras, a reminder that this fight wasn't just about the ring. Crawford was confronting the long-running narrative the media had been building about him, proving that even champions must face scrutiny outside the ropes.
A three-time undisputed champion, the first ever in the 2, 3, or 4 belt era, and you became the second undisputed champion in 3 weight classes when there was only one champion back in 1938 with Henry Armstrong. That's a lot of stuff.
You hear that? You hear that?
Boxing analysts and journalists had long dismissed Crawford, claiming he wasn't compelling, couldn't sell fights, and lacked star power. At the press conference, Crawford shouted back against these criticisms, proving that now, on the sport's biggest stage, he has not only silenced his doubters but also firmly established himself as a top-tier star.
And all of it all goes hand in hand.
Can you describe what it all means to you to have, you just made like a whole resume of stuff tonight.
It means a lot to me because, you know, anybody can be a nobody, like I said, you know, and that's all they say I've been fighting is nobodies. So what can they say?
When Canelo, the reigning champion, stepped into the ring to defend his title, everything was at stake, not just the belts, but his legacy and reputation. A loss meant he would no longer hold the crown and could leave the arena without the fame that had defined his career. In the end, Crawford secured a unanimous decision victory, claiming the undisputed middleweight throne. This defeat cost Canelo all his belts in the division and, in the eyes of history, some of his claim to being the undisputed king. Australian cruiserweight world champion Jai Opetaia immediately weighed in after Crawford's monumental win over Canelo. Speaking with clear admiration, Opetaia acknowledged Crawford's dominance and agreed that the outcome left little room for debate.
Listen, bro. Too smart. Like, what a technician.
Are you shocked or not?
Not at all. Not at all. Alright, that's how I picture the fight going. So I'll picture the fight going that way. Man, impressive. You know what I mean? Coming up from all those weight divisions. Hit, don't get hit. That's the aim of the game. Puts him differently in their list, but he's in everyone's list. You know what I mean? He's deserved his respect. He's one of the greats. And that Crawford name, that last name, that's written down in history. So,
he went on to discuss Crawford's rising reputation, noting that while his status is still relatively recent, the Nebraska star's name has officially earned a place among the all-time greats of boxing. Opetaia emphasized that Crawford has gained widespread respect within the sport, and his legacy is now firmly etched into boxing history.
I was hoping that there was more action coming from Canelo. You know, I'm used to Canelo fighting that way all the time. You know, he tried his best. You know, he always has trouble against movers. I was really expecting them to be more punches, more movement by Canelo. Yeah, I mean, it was a situation where he's, you know, Terence Crawford's a tactician, and he throws combinations and he moves, and then, you know, if you try and exchange with him, he's gone already. So you got to be fast. You got to punch him when he's punching you.
Defeating Canelo was never going to be easy, especially without bringing significant power into the fight. Early exchanges showed that Canelo could feel the impact when he was hit cleanly, particularly to the body, or when Crawford closed the distance effectively. When asked about Terence Crawford's stunning victory over Canelo Alvarez, former heavyweight champion Lennox Lewis offered a candid assessment. Lewis praised the fight overall but felt that Alvarez didn't give his full effort. He expected the Mexican star to throw more punches and move with greater speed. Historically, Alvarez has struggled against smooth, fluid fighters like Crawford, and this bout reinforced that challenge.
About many times, and I thought that this time he just boxed like he always boxes. And then I felt he couldn't really do nothing against Terence Crawford because Terence Crawford was too quick, too elusive. You know, anybody would find trouble with him, but Canelo couldn't find him. For Canelo to win a round, I say he won about 3 rounds in that fight. I was actually amazed at the way how Terence Crawford moved and, you know, never got hit. And threw combinations because that's what you're supposed to do, throw combinations. So he threw combinations. He wasn't trying to knock out Canelo, but he definitely was throwing a lot of punches.
Here's what Lennox Lewis said following Canelo Alvarez's loss to Terence Crawford. He noted that he had observed Canelo's patterns before, and this performance was typical of his usual approach, but Crawford's style demanded more. Lewis explained that Canelo struggled to assert himself because Crawford's defense and reactions were so sharp, making it difficult for Alvarez to land clean punches or take control of the bout.
Oh, it's the morning after the big fight. Crawford Canelo. Shout outs to Crawford. You did it, boy. You did it. For those who still aren't quite sure what they witnessed last night, I'm going to let you know that you witnessed what is called a notorious boxing clinic. This is everything done.
Most observers agreed that it wasn't Canelo's power but Crawford's speed, timing, and ring intelligence that decided the fight. Crawford's movement and precision forced Canelo to miss repeatedly, keeping the momentum firmly in Crawford's favor. While Canelo landed some hard shots, too many connected only when Crawford allowed himself to be close, limiting their impact. Physically, Canelo was perfectly suited for the super middleweight division, making Crawford's achievement even more impressive. Former unified welterweight champion Keith Thurman described Crawford's performance against Canelo as a masterclass in boxing. Thurman emphasized that it wasn't just a victory, it was a showcase of flawless fundamentals, impeccable timing, and composed execution at the highest level. Many doubted that Crawford could withstand Canelo's power and speed at super middleweight, yet he did, controlling the pace of the fight from start to finish, a feat Thurman highly praised.
This was a notorious hit and don't get hit. That's boxing 101, people. Actually, the definition of boxing. For those who don't know the definition of boxing, it's to hit and not get hit. It's almost like a game of tag, to simplify it for you folks. All right? And yes, Crawford was tagging him. Not just with the jab, moving, but he was able to do another key factor, which is
Crawford's victory didn't just shuffle the belts, it rewrote the narrative of who truly rules the super middleweight division. For Canelo, 34, a fighter who's battled at the top level for decades, this loss could mark a pivotal moment in his career. Whether he chooses to rebuild at a new weight or attempt redemption remains to be seen. He now must come to terms with being bested by a fast, agile, and undefeated opponent on one of boxing's grandest stages. When asked about Canelo's renowned punching power at super middleweight, Crawford remained composed, noting that the size and strength of Canelo were unlike anything he had faced before, but he had handled tough challengers in the past and felt he executed his game plan well. Regarding what was truly at stake in the bout, Timothy Bradley Jr. didn't hesitate. He explained that this fight carried enormous significance for Canelo's legacy. Bradley emphasized that if Crawford had lost, his credibility as the benchmark Alvarez needed to beat would have suffered, especially given that Crawford had moved up multiple weight classes to take on the challenge.
Power, like, have you been hit by anybody that strong before?
I've been hit harder.
No, in a real fight, not a
In
bar.
a real fight. Not Avanesian, but Mean Machine hit harder than Canelo to me. To be honest.
Congratulations.
That's a wrap. Terence "Bud" Crawford did more than just win a fight, he made history. Against all doubts, he stepped into the ring with Canelo Alvarez and emerged victorious, proving that true greatness transcends weight classes. Boxing, often called the sweet science, showed its brilliance that night, with skill, heart, and legacy all on full display. If you enjoyed the intensity of this matchup, hit like and share this video with every fight fan you know. Don't forget to drop your thoughts in the comments. Where do you think Crawford ranks among the all-time greats? Subscribe and tap the bell, because the next chapter in the story is only getting bigger, and you won't want to miss it.